WWE Clash in Paris is done and over, and it was kinda mid. Just like I do with every pay-per-view. I took a shower, I jerked off, and I got my thoughts together, so let's talk about it. We open up the night with Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. Michael Cole calls Bronson Reed a young and up-and-coming superstar. Sure, let's go with that. Roman would go for the Superman punch, but Bronson catches him and hits him with a Uranagi and a senton. Bronson Reed would go for a suicide dive, but Roman would catch him with a Superman punch. Bronson would go for the tsunami, but Reigns would move out of the way, allowing Reigns to go for the spear, but Bronson would catch him and hit him with a power bomb. Roman would hit a Samoan drop off the top rope, and the match ultimately ends with Roman hitting the spear and picking up the victory. The match was okay, but the crowd was amazing. They ate up everything these two did. After the match, Roman realizes Paul Heyman is in the ring with no help, and he makes Paul Heyman give him his shoes back, and then he chokes him out with a guillotine. Roman would sign his shoes and he tosses them into the crowd, and as he's doing this, Braun Breaker appears and spears Roman through the announce table. And as Braun and Bronson's carrying Paul Heyman, Braun runs all the way back and gives Reigns another spear, and then Bronson gives Reigns a tsunami. Reigns would get strapped to a stretcher, but Bronson comes back and gives him yet another tsunami. But before they can do anything else, Jey Uso comes out to help Roman, but he'd be met with a spear by Braun Breaker. And then Bronson would hit a third tsunami on Roman Reigns. This is most likely to write Roman Reigns off TV so he can go film the Street Fighter movie. Backstage after the match, Adam Pearce tells the Vision if they come near the main event tonight, they will be suspended. So Seth has no help tonight. Next up is the Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team Championships. The Street Profits would come out with a Borderlands entrance with Borderlands attire. I know my buddies Shandle and Dillon would like this a lot. The Wyatt Six would come out and all the fireflies are everywhere and the crowd singing their song. And the Street Profits seem to be having some locker room issues to start the match. Towards the end, Nikki Cross has Montez by the legs, and that allows Uncle Howdy to hit the Sister Abigail on the outside, and Loomis and Gacy would hit the Plague to win the match and retain their WWE Tag Team Championships. The match was meh, but they did plant the seeds for the Street Profits splitting up, and I am all ears for a Montez Ford singles push. Next up is Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Nikki completely misses a kick from the middle rope. Becky would go for a manhandle slam off the steel steps, but Nikki would reverse and hit the Bella Buster on the steps. Nikki would give Becky a manhandle slam of her own, but ultimately Becky would roll up Nikki to retain her Intercontinental Championship. I'm gonna be honest, the match was kind of ass, though I will cut Nikki some slack. This is her first singles match in God knows how long. Next up is Sheamus vs Rusev in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Sheamus would hit the 10 beats of the Baldwin on a bar. Try saying that 10 times fast. Rusev tries to run away, but Sheamus would catch him and hit him with another 10 beats of the Baldwin with a shillelagh. Sheamus looks to jump onto Rusev on the outside, but Rusev would catch him with a kendo stick. Rusev would slam Sheamus through the bar. Rusev would put Sheamus in the Accolade on top of the whiskey barrels, but Sheamus would hit the white noise off the whiskey barrels through 2 tables. Rusev would wrap a shillelagh around Sheamus's mouth and put him in the Accolade, causing Sheamus to tap. Very good and fun match. Sheamus is the certified king of Clash. Not that fucking Clash, calm down. Hopefully this leads to Sheamus being in the Intercontinental Championship title picture. Next up is John Cena versus Logan Paul. The crowd goes absolutely nuts for John Cena. Logan Paul hit an uppercut in the corner and Michael Cole calls it a Cesaro uppercut. No. John Cena pulls out the End of Days for some reason. Cena would hit a Hurricane Rana, and he also pulls out a Code Red. Logan would go for an AA, but Cena would reverse it into a Styles Clash, but Cena would end the match with one final AA to win. The match was fine. It was a carry job by John Cena. Cena should have never turned heel. His run has gotten so much better since he's turned back to face, but it's too late now, he's almost gone, and they've wasted 2 of Cena's retirement matches on Logan Paul. And we move on to the main event, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Everyone jumps Rollins at the start because they're sick of his ass. LA Knight suplexes Jey Uso off the top rope as Punk powerbombs LA Knight. LA Knight pushes CM Punk through a table, but the table doesn't break. LA Knight goes for an elbow on Seth through the announce table, but Seth moves and LA Knight crashes and burns through the table. Jey goes for the spear, but Rollins turns it into a pedigree. Jey would hit the Uso splash, but as he's going for the pin, Punk breaks it up with an elbow drop. Punk hits the GTS on Jey, but as he's going for the pin, Seth curb stomps Punk. Seth sets up Punk's head into a chair, but as he's going for the stomp, Punk moves and Seth hurts himself. Punk has Seth up for a GTS, but he is low blowed by a mysterious person, and it's Becky Lynch. And Seth is able to hit the curb stomp on a steel chair to win the match and retain his World Heavyweight Championship. And now Becky has seemingly joined the Seth Riders, I mean the Vision. version. Maybe this will lead to Rollins and Becky versus Punk and AJ Lee, but I wouldn't get my hopes up. And that was Clash in Paris. There's not really much to say, it was kinda mid. It wasn't bad per se, but it wasn't the best. The stage was great and unique, finally. The atmosphere and crowd was great, even though I was getting a little bit tired of them chanting "Sacre bleu" after every pinfall, but that's neither here nor there. Hopefully WrestlePalooza is way better than this, which it probably will be because they're gonna try to counter-program AEW's All Out. But did you enjoy Clash in Paris? Let me know in the comments, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'll make more silly videos like this in the future, so stop on by when the time comes. But until then, be careful.